So, standing in that window, let's see, the room was orange. It had just been painted orange. And we had Star Wars wallpaper put up. Not Return of the Jedi. It was A New Hope. It was the first one. The second movie had come out. And I had wallpaper from the first movie because they didn't have any for the second movie. That was the thing with the wallpaper. And that paper sack had a puppet of Ernie from Bert and Ernie. And for whatever reason, I had to bring the rubber duck that was with it. I couldn't do it. I didn't really give a duck about the duck, but it had to come along. I had a 45 LP of Disney's Black Hole, like a terrible movie nobody watches, and for some reason the sound effects in there were really mesmerizing. I would listen to it over and over. And I put that in there, and I had some Hot Wheels, and I packed. Now get this. One of the things the mother would do is threaten me with something called the little boy pound. If I wasn't moving fast enough or didn't get my room picked up fast enough, something usually had to do with an egg timer. The egg timer went off before I was done. I'd get threatened with the little boy pound. The little boy pound is a place where they put bad boys, little kids, and your parents can make a phone call and they'll come and pick you up. And at first it would torment me. She would do this, and I'd get pretty worked up. But eventually I called her bluff, and so she had packed up. The thing was that you take a toothbrush and your underwear. And so I went ahead, and she said she's calling the little boy pound, and I'm going. So I went and I got underwear and a toothbrush and put them in a paper sack. And then when I was standing out on the porch, and I went out, voluntarily went out, stood on the porch, no problems, and closed the door, and within a few seconds, a car pulled into our driveway, and it's dark outside, so there's headlights, and I can't see who's in the car. I can't see the car, all I can see are the headlights. Well, that was it for me. I freaked out. I thought I was a goner. That one took a long time to calm down from, and the relevant part about it is knowing that she retells this story over and over with such delight, and how she brags about how well she can torment someone mentally and emotionally. And I suppose it comes from, some of it is from being in a physically weaker position where other skills become important, and my mother practiced this on me. Another thing that put me in that window was, so that's where I got the paper sack from. That's like, it kind of one translated into the other. So what else was in that sack? The underwear, toothbrush. That's how, I think the rubber duck kind of wound up in there along that line. Toiletries. See, you're packing to live homeless. I literally had this idea that I would hit the ground and run away, or that I'd be able to float away, because I'm rationalizing going to heaven here. And I figured I'd find another place to live. Someone would take me in, or I could live under someone's cupboard, or maybe out in a tree house or a shed. Because that's what heaven was living somewhere else, right? And yeah, I had things that I didn't feel I could do without. And the bag was full though. Oh, I took a rubber snake that I hated. The snake would fall out and be on the floor at night and just freak me out. I wouldn't be able to go to sleep until I put it away. And I'd be scared to go in my room, because if it was out on the floor, it would scare me just being on the floor. And I couldn't part with it. I had to put it in the sack. Because I don't know what gives with that, but I did. So the other thing is, I kind of do know why, I guess. It has, gosh, the rubber earthworm too. So my circumcision was a shit show, I guess you'd say. I know this is personal, but it's the stuff that kills you. I don't want to live with it anymore. So somebody's got to know. Yeah, stop circumcising babies. You want to talk about violating a person's sense of consent? I mean, my God. So I don't remember mine the day it happened. I remembered it when I was 4, and because I have a condition, something I grow skin bridges, where the frenulums in your body, including the one under your tongue, like for example, it was all the way out to the tip. And when I was born, they had to cut that back. They have to. They didn't have to, but they did. They just snipped it with a pair of scissors back then. It was pretty cruel. And then circumcised me. Well, because that frenulum was there, scar tissue for me is a little bit different. And my circumcision decided that it was going to grow back. It started reattaching when I was 4. And so I was taken to the doctor. And they were given the option of putting me under for surgery or just tearing it down right there. I didn't want necessarily to go into surgery because I already had my tonsils removed and I knew what anesthesia was and didn't really want to go through that process. And she kind of pressured to pick the easy route. She, I think, wanted to see this looking back. And so they just ripped it down. Naturally, I screamed at the top of my lungs. I screamed past what your lungs can do. Right? You're silent, you're screaming silent. And was held down, keep from getting up off. Over the next few days, weeks, it looked like a hagfish, my little member. And I had to pee through it, and I was crying and screaming in the toilet, trying to pee and dancing around, and it would jiggle it and make it hurt worse, and I would cry more, and it was really getting on her nerves, so she took a dish towel, and she was trying to snap my hand because I was trying to touch my wee-wee. And she missed my hand and hit a blackened member. And again, I screamed louder than your lungs and your box will take. And that put me up there. She had no remorse for that. She wasn't sorry. It was my fault. It was my fault. Yeah. The photography put me up there. We'll wait. I'll do another one here in a minute. See if I can handle it. See if I can do an hour. See if you can do an hour.